When I first moved to the United States, I thought my biggest challenge would be understanding American slang or figuring out how to tip, but I quickly discovered something else would get me noticed everywhere I went: my European accent. Whether I was ordering coffee, meeting new people, or even just asking for directions, my accent opened doors, sparked conversations, and sometimes led to hilarious misunderstandings. Today I'm sharing the funniest, most surprising, and most heartwarming ways Americans have reacted to my European accent. First impressions, the curiosity factor. From the moment I landed at the airport, it started. The customs officer asked, "Where are you from?" And when I answered, he smiled and said, "I love your accent." I thought it was just politeness, but it kept happening. At the grocery store, in Ubers, even at the bank. Americans are genuinely curious about different accents and love to guess where you're from. The guessing game. One of the most common and funniest reactions is the guessing game. At least once a week, someone would tilt their head, squint and say, "Are you British? Australian? Wait, is that French?" I've been mistaken for being from at least 5 different countries, sometimes in the same conversation. My favourite was when someone guessed I was from Transylvania, just because they'd never heard my accent before. Instant icebreaker. If you're shy, having an accent is the ultimate icebreaker. People want to know your story. How long have you been here? What brings you to America? Do you miss home? It's a great way to make connections, especially when you're new and looking for friends. I've had strangers buy me coffee just to hear about my journey. Compliments and stereotypes. Americans love to compliment European accents. I've heard, "You sound so sophisticated," or "I wish I had your accent," more times than I can count. Sometimes people assume I'm automatically smarter or more cultured just because of how I speak. Of course, there are stereotypes too, like thinking all Europeans are wine experts, or that I must know how to cook fancy food. Spoiler, I don't. Misunderstandings and language fails. But it's not all smooth sailing. There have been plenty of hilarious misunderstandings. For example, I once asked for chips at a restaurant, expecting fries, and got a bag of potato chips instead. Or the time I said I needed a rubber in class, meaning an eraser, and got some very confused looks. Americans have their own words for things, and sometimes my accent makes it even harder for them to understand what I mean. The "say something" requests. People love to hear you talk, sometimes just for the novelty. I've had people ask me to say random words, read their coffee order, or even record their voicemail greeting. It can be awkward, but it's usually all in good fun. Accents and dating. Let's talk about dating for a second. An accent can be a superpower, or at least a great conversation starter. I've had people tell me, "Your accent is so cute," or "Say that again, it sounds amazing," but it can also attract some strange attention. I once had a date ask me to just keep talking so they could listen to my accent. Flattering, but a little weird. The "do you know so-and-so" question. Here's another classic. Americans will often ask if you know someone from your country, no matter how big it is. "Oh, you're from Germany? Do you know Hans from Berlin?" It's funny and sweet, even if it makes no sense. Accent imitations and butchering. Some Americans will try to imitate your accent, usually with hilarious results. I've heard everything from "cheerio mate" to "bonjour" to attempts at my native language that made me laugh out loud. It's usually meant as a friendly joke, so I just play along. When it gets awkward, occasionally people can't understand me at all, especially over the phone or in noisy places. I've had to repeat myself, slow down, or even spell things out. Sometimes I get frustrated, but most people are patient and genuinely want to understand. The accent advantage. Here's the truth. Having a European accent in America is mostly a superpower. It makes you memorable. People are more likely to remember your name, invite you to events, or introduce you to others. It can open doors in work, networking, and even customer service. I once got free dessert at a restaurant because the waiter loved my accent, learning to laugh at myself. The best thing I've learned? Just laugh it off. Whether it's a funny misunderstanding, a wild guess about my country, or a compliment that makes no sense, it's all part of the adventure. I've learned to embrace my accent, correct people gently, and use it as a way to connect. Tips for newcomers with accents. Speak clearly, but don't be afraid to be yourself. Your accent is part of your story. Be patient with misunderstandings. They happen to everyone. Use your accent as an icebreaker. Let people ask questions. It's a great way to make friends. Learn American slang and key phrases. It helps bridge the gap. Laugh at the funny moments. They'll make great stories later. Final thoughts. If you're moving to the US and worried about fitting in, remember, your accent is a gift. It sets you apart, sparks curiosity, and helps people remember you. Sure, you'll have some awkward or hilarious moments, but those are the stories you'll cherish most. So, embrace your accent, enjoy the reactions, and get ready for a lot of laughs along the way. If you've had funny or surprising experiences with your accent in America, share them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories and tips about thriving in the US. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching. We hope you found this video helpful as you prepare for your move to the United States. If you found value in the information and advice provided, please consider supporting the podcast on Patreon. Your donations will allow us to continue creating new episodes and videos to help even more people with their relocation to America. Just visit patreon.com/movingtotheus to sign up. Until next time, best of luck with your move.